I'm Shelton Wilder, and welcome to Wilder Possibilities Podcast, where each episode follows an entrepreneur's journey into the transformative power of that light bulb moment where everything clicks. I call that the click. Those pivotal points that redefine our futures, illuminate paths to success, and even change the world. Now let's get wilder. Hi friends, welcome back to Wilder Possibilities. And today I have a special guest, one of my long-term friends, and it's Erika Hamilton, and she is an actor, a filmmaker, and a writer.
That's me.
Yes, and so many things, and a mama, and all these other great things. So, and that's actually how we met. Was
in preschool.
Yeah, our kids went to I know we always say at preschool.
Yes.
We're like at preschool. That was so long ago. I was like, no.
It's crazy.
Our kids.
The biggest transformation of us as people and mothers and all this stuff. So
right there.
Very much.
And I love that.
Good
so
times.
I wanted to have you on and talk about everything that's happening now. You have a lot of exciting things happening now with your new film. Yeah. But I like to start from the beginning.
Okay.
And for you to kind of tell us where you're from and how you got the click to start what you're doing and just the whole thing.
Awesome.
So,
All right, let's dive in. I'll try not to be too wordy.
No, we love
it. I'm from a small town north of Dayton, Ohio.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
A small town called Piqua. It's a bit like Friday Night Lights. You know, the high school sort of runs everything, and they called us Children of the Corn. We were in the sticks. But yeah, I had sort of
I don't know about the Children of the Corn. That was a scary movie.
It was a scary movie. But it's a bit Children of the Corn and Leave It to Beaver. I had very wholesome, sort of childhood. And I had two brothers and a sister, and my sister's handicapped. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Which sort of informed, me in a way. When I was growing up, I didn't realize it. Looking back now, I see how active I was, and maybe it was because I saw that it didn't have to be that way. Like that there was someone that couldn't do, all these different things.
Yeah.
And so my sister, she caught meningitis when she was a week old, and it kind of turned into this cerebral palsy, like the most extreme case. You can't talk or walk. And so, I'm sandwiched in the middle with her. She's older, and then I have an older brother and a younger brother.
Oh, wow.
And I was sort of all those classic middle child things to just like, see me, do me, perform, and all this stuff.
You're like, wait, I'm here.
Hey.
Yeah.
No, but my parents did a great job in making sure that we were, not feeling like we were saddled by, my sister's disability. We all, did our part or whatever. Mm-hmm. But, I grew up in a really religious household, and, things just happen, and you take care of business and you move on. Like, you're not wallowing in self-pity. Like, that is not what happens. You were like, no.
See that rug? I'm just going to sweep that.
Nope.
Oh, no, nothing to see here.
It's so funny. And I was like, that's just the way it is. And I appreciate that. But then once I got into therapy after all these things, I'm like, oh, yeah, there was lots of stuff there that we could have like pulled out from under the rug. But
we could have like a little chat, like a little talk.
Yeah, but no, it was really wonderful. And I was a gymnast. I was a dancer. I ran track. I did all the things. I was in choir. It was when I got to high school, I was a cheerleader, and then I also tried out for the school play.
Oh.
Yeah. And so it was Annie, Get Your Gun. I was in 9th grade. Freshmen don't usually get anything. And I booked a small little chorus role. I was a dancer in it. And it was, maybe that was the first click, but it wasn't in the way that, like, I'm, again, from this small town. I didn't dream big. Like, I didn't think I could be Rudy Huxtable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, but maybe I could be, the lead my senior year. Like, that was, it was very much like, okay, dream within boundaries.
Oh, within your boundaries. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was that was that first most people have lots of little clicks. So that was
exactly. So that was the first. It really activated me. I loved everything about it. When you're doing theater, you're creating the whole thing, from, learning your lines to getting the choreography, and then you're putting it together in tech rehearsal, and you're coming up with a costume. Like, you're all hands on deck.
Yeah.
And it's like this whole production. And I realized how much it informed when I made my own film, how much I loved being a part of it at the very beginning.
Oh,
it was just, I was like, oh my God, it was always there. That was always inside me. It always started when I was in high school.
Grade.
Exactly. So, but yeah, so in order to get to that lead in my senior year, I was like, well, I should quit cheerleading and do show choir, which is basically like Glee, if you ever watched the movie.
Oh, okay.
Glee. Yeah, so show choir is a singing and dancing and basically theater competition group.
Oh, it was like that.
It was like that.
They had that at your school?
They had that at my school. It's literally Glee. You go around, you have these outfits, and you dress and dance, and it's...
And you compete with other schools?
And you compete with other schools, and you travel all around Ohio. And so I was like, I have to do that. And after having done the musical, the musical director was like, yeah, you'll be great. Mind you, I'm one of a handful of Black people really in this town. My dad is the teacher. He's an African-American history teacher, a history teacher.
Yeah.
And my mom is a stay-at-home mom, but then she later went back to school and became an art teacher. So they're the only two Black teachers in this whole school. We're like this prominent little Black family. We go to, the little Black Baptist church.
Oh, yeah.
And so I have this great community on the side, but, everyone sort of thinks that Black people can sing. And I kind of thought, I was like, well, I'm in church choir.
You're like, of course.
But when you're in choir, you're masked by all these other sounds and you don't really know. It's terrible.
That's hilarious.
It is terrible. So they were like hyping me up. They're like, oh yeah, you're going to be the
Erika's
best.
going to crush
it. Awesome. Yeah. So I audition. I'm like, I'm going to quit cheerleading and this is going to be my life. And I go and I audition for show choir and I use one of the songs from the musical the year before. And it's There's No Business Like Show.
Yeah, of course.
And so I get out there and I have my church pianist down at the bottom playing the music. And I had practiced in my house. It was a total, what's the audition show on TV? What's American Idol. It was full on like...
American Idol. You're like, oh my God.
Flame. Yeah. So I get out there and the choir director the musical director that was telling me, you got to do it, was sitting at the back with three of the judges. And he was like nudging people like, wait till you see her. She's going to be awesome. And I get out there and I'm like, there's no. And I'm like, the reverberation of my voice, it just is like echoing all over the place. I see him slowly go like this. The piano player's looking up at me like, what?
What?
And I am just mortified. And I'm like,
oh my God.
And they were all like, I leave the stage and they're like, why didn't you just tell us you couldn't sing? And I was like, I just thought I could. And so dreams.
I thought I was good. You're like, oh no, Gwen Stefani didn't hit the button to turn around to save me. And they're like, no, get her.
Get her. Yeah, and so that sort of killed that dream in a way. It was sort of like, okay, well, I'm not going to be singing ever again. And up until that point, it was really, honestly, I look back at it, it was the greatest thing that happened to me because I up until that point, I was always sort of the best at whatever I did.
Oh yeah.
And I was a really good I was usually the top, and I needed to get a rejection
little
and
humility.
Then and so I went back to cheerleading and focused on that, and I still did the musicals every year, and I ended up getting like the lead, minority role in Grease. It was Cha-Cha my senior year, and it was like the highlight of my life. And then it was sort of back down to earth and like, okay, what can you actually do here? And so I go off to college and I continue dancing. My focus was just like, let me just dance. Like, I know I can do that.
Did you do that in college?
So I danced in college.
Yeah.
And
Where were you?
I went to the University of Cincinnati.
Okay, so you were there. Yeah.
And it was great. It was wonderful.
That's like going and...
It was a wonderful school. And it's funny, too, because I chose not to follow in the footsteps of my parents, like my dad, my brothers, everyone is a teacher.
Oh, they're all
educators. And my dad and brothers went to HBCUs, historically Black colleges. And I was sort of like, I just need to get further from you guys. Not that I again, had the great childhood, but I just was like, I know there's more out there. Yeah. And so I went to, which is not that far. It's like an hour and a half south of where I'm from. But yeah, I did that. I was on the dance team. We were a competitive dance team. It was just so much fun. But I, I always had that performing thing in me. I was a communications major. And so I started taking classes what's it called? I don't know. I ended up interning at the local ABC affiliate.
Oh, okay. So you wanted,
I was like, well, I could be a newscaster.
Like a host. Okay.
Yeah. And so I started working in the sports department, and they loved me, and they just kept giving me assignments, and I would go out and I would cover like Bengals games and Reds games. I'd be in the locker room.
So good.
It was nuts. I was in the locker room with these guys, and they're like towels off, and I'm like,
yeah. Oh, hello.
But yeah, like in Ohio, like sports rules everything, and so I grew up just knowing everything about sports, and so I could hang. I was like, I like this. This feels like I could do this forever. And, but I also was like, what else is out there? You know, what else? And, I was dating a guy who ended up going to Philadelphia, and when he asked me to move out there with him, I was like, yeah, I will. Let's do it.
Yeah, okay,
Get
great.
me out of Ohio.
Yeah.
I have something. And much to the disappointment of my religious parents, but I left, and I'm so grateful that he got me out of Ohio, because I don't know if I would have taken that chance.
I really relate.
Yeah.
You just got to get out sometimes.
You just got to get out.
Yeah.
And it was honestly just a series of sort of failures. It was terrifying, but I needed it. I needed that. It got me grit being sort of in there. I didn't have a community. My boyfriend was a pathological liar. Like, there was a lot of shit. It was great.
Love that.
So you sink or swim. You figure it out. And so I decided to swim. I decided to turn back to dance. I was in a bigger market. There was no way I was going to get a sports casting job in Philadelphia, and there was a job that I basically left in Cincinnati that I could have had. But I went back to dancing. I was dancing for the Sixers.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
During the Allen Iverson days. I don't know if you know.
Yeah, of course. That was big time.
Right after he's like, practice. Anyway. But so I did that for a year, and I felt I had a community again. I was starting to have so much fun. I mean, it was good times. And I started working at a marketing, with my little communications degree, I started working at a marketing job. So I was waking up early in the mornings and going to, to do market research, and then doing, dance. And
That's so fun.
It was fun. I mean, it was like early 20s.
Your little girl group. It's fun.
Girl group. And I've always needed, with my sister being the way I always sought out female relationships. It was a big deal. I'm a girl's girl for sure. And I need that in my life. And so, I had that, and it was awesome. And I ended up getting fired, which was
from the Sixers?
devastating to me. Yes. So I think back of my time, like all these little things that create humility or whatever. They flipped to serving me so well in the end. It's crazy, because I was unjustly fired, but that's another story in itself. But I was fired nonetheless, and I couldn't go back the next year. And so I was like, I'll show you. I'm going to go to a better team.
Oh, yeah. I'll show you.
I'll show you. Yeah. And
that's a spirit.
Yeah. I was like, I'll show you. And I had just broken up with that boyfriend that I had been with for 5 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I had just gotten fired. The new job I had a job in New York. And so I was like, will you transfer me? I'm going to audition for the Knicks. And
yeah.
On the day that I found out I book it, I'm moving. I also end up getting called by like the Philadelphia Inquirer or the Philadelphia Daily News or something to be a part of this sexy singles thing. And I had just broken up with my boyfriend, and they took some photos of me. It was my first time doing anything like that. And they ended up putting me on the cover. And so
that's awesome.
I'm literally
living.
It's so cheesy and is embarrassing. It all builds up to, this sort of thing. But I'm leaving Philadelphia, and there's just newspapers of my face all over the train and all. It was awesome. I'm
See you later.
I was feeling myself, but also I did not. I mean, I made the Knicks, but I was like barely hanging on by a thread. And it was the hardest. The next 3 years were so hard. I mean, it's not easy. I don't know. A lot of people have been watching that Dallas Cow.
I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it. I can't watch it. I feel like it's triggering. I made the best friends there that are still my friends to this day. We're in a little mommy chat group together. But it was, it's a grind. Like, you're in the biggest city. You're dancing at Madison Square Garden.
You have to look perfect.
You have to look perfect. You're training every day. And
it's not a lot of money.
Well, in
right?
New York,
for
me,
York,
it felt like I was making money, and you can make a lot. The practices aren't, you have like these huge knee pads on because you're just slamming your body to the ground. Like, it is so taxing. It's so physical. But then you have these opportunities to just be out in the community, and we got to like teach dance to kids, up in the Bronx, and that was really fulfilling to me.
Oh, wow.
And we just got to be, we're not celebrities, but we got to be like asked to do certain things, and where we would be, and places where like I got to tour the Great Wall of China with some actual celebrities, and I mean, these little things that I got to do were really cool, and I really valued my time there. But it was the little things that I got from it. I ended up getting an agent, a commercial agent there, and I started to book immediately. I booked the iPod spots.
Oh God, that's huge.
That's when I started. I was like, oh my God, I'm actually in New York. Things happen. Like, there's Broadway. I started to believe. I was like, actually, the thing that I always wanted to do but never dreamed that could even happen is all here for me now.
Yeah, you're in New York. You're in the city.
Let me do this.
Yeah.
And so eventually, I was making enough money that I did not need to have that marketing job. But there was a hustle when I first got there. I was waking up at 6 a.m. I was schlepping all my, Knicks dancers' clothes, and eyelashes were like on the side of my face.
God, yeah.
Like, it was nuts. It was nonstop. But then there was a moment where I was like, I'm making good money. I don't need to do this side job, and I'm making great money with the commercials. And maybe I need to start taking class. Let me realize this
for acting.
And so that was the next real click. I got into this Meisner-based class, and in my childhood, I was sort of this. People would be like, you cry too much, you're so emotional, and I was just, I'm a Cancer, I'm a feeling person, and I was finally in a space where I was like, oh, all that stuff is really
helpful.
It's great. I felt it a little bit when I was in, the theater program. I was like, to be dramatic, you can be, but then to really tap into vulnerabilities and be grounded, unlike, maybe a theater production. This is like, you can share real stories and be really emotive and giving. It was just beautiful. I loved every experience in that class. And there was a time where I was like, okay, I can't sing. So why stay in Broadwayville? I should move out to LA. Yeah. And I had a friend that had just moved out there who had danced with me. We had drove across country, and it was that was another thing. It was like, we drove from New York to LA, and right through the middle, stopped in Ohio with my parents, and then there was a moment in Colorado. I'd never been to the mountains. Like, I'd never driven past, like the Mississippi, and I was like, holy shit, this has been here all along. Like,
this is so beautiful.
I need this. Like, I need the world. I need to see things, and that flip a switch where I'm like, okay, I need to go. And so, I moved. And also I was, I landed, I had a good amount of money, sleeping on my friend's couch, doing my thing, going to classes. And then I meet Christian.
The best.
The best.
We love him.
But I wasn't, I had just moved. So I have started everything a bit late. Like, life carried me to all these different bigger moments, but I do feel sometimes like, God, I really envy those people that had that direct like skip all the but that's life. I had such a wonderful life.
So many people don't do that. We're all going like, well, failing forward, you know, it's just because that's really.
Yeah. But I'm getting to LA. I mean, you know, this business is very a young person's game. So I'm getting at LA right at the end of my 20s. And I'm not really, I've sort of sworn off men, and I'm like not trying to meet blonde, scruffy haired Christian, you know what I mean? I was like, but you can't help it. When you fall in love, you fall in love. It was like, phew, like it was like someone like blew a dart, and it was like, I can't get away. And he's such a magical, awesome guy who's always really believed in me too. And I was working, I was doing really great stuff. I meet him. And then, you know, life happened really fast. We get married, we have kids, and then I meet you in that time where I am like swimming.
8 years ago, we were like, oh my God, we're like, we have 2-year-olds. We're like, nice to meet you.
Like, you can't hold a conversation. I didn't know who I was after. I was just like, I wasn't getting out anymore, you know, acting wise. I was feeling really lost. Yeah. And, you know, I had always wrote. I was an avid journaler, and but I was always so scared. And I thought, I mean, I even took writing classes in college, but to give it to the world, like, that is terrifying. Yeah. It still scares me. Christian's
a director.
Christian's a director.
Yeah.
And
pushed you.
And he pushed me.
Yeah.
And he was like, you have stories to tell. And I was like, I do, but I don't know where to start. And so we kind of just talked about it. And I'm like, you know, nursing one kid, you know, running after my daughter. And I remember those days being a blur, but I would be up at weird hours and I would just start writing.
Wow.
And then I had this moment where I was on the PCH. You know, I don't know if you've heard me tell this story, but no. I was driving, you know, I think I just had Bear, and I had this moment where I could just be alone in the car, and it was a sunny day, and I had the radio on, and wind in my hair, and I was like happy, you know, and Lights by Journey comes on. I don't know if you know the song. Do you know Journey? You know Journey.
Yes,
who doesn't know Journey?
Yes.
No, but yeah, everyone knows Journey. And so I was singing it, and I was just having a moment, and I pull up at a stoplight, and a car of black guys pulls up next to me, and they look at me, and I look at them, and I like turn down the radio, and they are not thinking about, I mean, they had a smirk, but they drove off, and there's whatever, like, it didn't mean anything. I don't think it meant anything to them, but it meant everything to me in the moment where I was like, why did I'm a grown woman, like, what? But it made me think about my childhood and growing up and all the little things I did, hiding little pieces of myself. So back to childhood, I grew up in this black church. I had a great community. My household was a constant celebration of black culture. I mean, to the point that we talked about my dad's a black history teacher. You
couldn't get more history than that. Yeah.
Totally. And so we were, watching Roots, and it was like just always this conversation. So, which I loved. I mean, I love it, but I also felt sort of like, oh, and I also, am in this predominantly white space where, my friends in high school are listening to, top 40 or whatever. And I would listen to like Casey K. Do you remember Casey K?
Casey K? Yes.
I would listen to America's Top 40. That's all I do.
It's like Ryan Seacrest now. Totally, same guy.
It was great.
Top 40.
So I love music. I mean, and that incident didn't stop me from singing in my bathroom. And so Journey, Steve Perry, I was obsessed with him growing up.
Oh, wow.
I loved it. But I also wasn't about to sing that music at my next, family reunion. I wasn't about to be like blasting that in the college dorms. I mean, I had enough people that would be like, "Oh, you're corny," or "You're a goody goody," or "You're a white girl," or whatever. I had that happening to the point that I was like, I don't want to get my black. I love who I am. Don't take that away. Like I got really like I was listening to someone else talk about this. I didn't feel like I fit in anywhere. Like obviously I wasn't trying to get any sort of accolades from the white people in my life, and I really did want that from the black people in my life. But then if I said something wrong or didn't fit in a certain box, I didn't feel like I was repping myself in the right way. So I felt like very much in this middle space.
Kind of pulled or...
And I hated it. And so, when I had that moment on PCH, I was like, holy shit, I've been doing this all my life. Just turning down the volume on who I am, not letting my voice I can be all these different things, it doesn't reflect. Why would I lose my confidence or who I am based on what someone might think? And I know that this is not a unique thing to have, but I was like, I get back to to the house and I was like, Christian, I think I have my nugget of an idea. Like, I think that this could be the story. And he was like, oh my God, absolutely. So, I wrote this story about a proud Black woman struggling with the racial and cultural boundaries of her love for the classic rock band Journey. And so,
so good.
And so, I couldn't write fast enough. I had my thing, and I wrote like 700 different drafts. I swear. Christian's like, every draft is good. Like, calm down. Quit.
It's like done is better than perfect. Relax.
No, but he was really great in telling me at first, just write.
Get it out there.
Just get it out. Yeah. Don't overly, decide like we won't be able to film this, or we won't. It's like my first draft had like us in like giant stadium. And he was like, okay, well maybe dial it back a little bit.
Yeah.
We're not gonna be able to do that. But yeah, and so the pandemic, comes into play, and I realized, with the George Floyd reckoning and everything else, I was like, this is a very unique Black story, and because Christian we had talked about him directing, and I was like, I need to be able to really be a part of this. This is my story. I will find, if I can't direct it, then I will find a Black director to help me do it, and so that's what I did. And I started writing the latest draft. I got connected to Amy Aniobi, who is, the executive producer and lead writer on Insecure. And I wrote a draft that ended up helping me win an international screenwriting award. It's called the Page Screenwriting Award.
Oh, I remember when that came out. Like, we were all like... Wait.
It blew me away. It was mid pandemic, and I submitted it just on a sort of a fluke, and I was like, oh my God, Christian's not lying. I have something.
Yeah, it's something in there.
And so, that gave me momentum to find a team and a crew. And I mean, the support of my community, which honestly, I have just been blessed with all the riches of the best people around me. So many people wanted to support and help, and I did this huge, the most terrifying crowdfunding campaign to kick it off, and I raised the money, and we shot the thing.
Oh, what?
And it had a wonderful festival run. I was in and out of some of the best festivals. I got to Martha's Vineyard. I did Dances with Films. It was just wonderful.
Yeah.
And it was sort of in that time period that I was like, this, it's terrifying to make a film and to put yourself out there like that.
And so much work.
It is so much work. And that is where the sort of entrepreneurial spirit comes into play. And it's funny because it was hard for me to think of myself, I'm an artist, I'm a, whatever, but creators and artists are absolutely entrepreneurs.
Oh my God.
And if you don't think of yourself in that way, then that's half the battle. You know, like you really need to like attack things in that sort of business mind. And like, this is what I'm here to do. I am called to do this. And this is what's and so I felt that in making the film. There was a moment when we were wrapping, I got up on stage and I, thanked everyone. I found a wonderful director. Her name is Portland Tungavi, who's part Black and Persian, and she looks entirely, Iranian, and so she had like her own interesting take on not feeling like you belong into a community. Wow. It was wonderful. Yeah. So we worked together really, really well, and I had a moment where I got on stage to thank everyone. I mean, like you're looking out, and there's this whole crew of people that are now here, cast, crew, from your words, from the words you wrote on a piece of paper.
Oh my God.
When you're nursing your son in your bed. And it just gave me chills. And I was like, this is that production thing that, I fell in love with theater.
The ninth grade. Yeah.
In the ninth grade. It's like just all built up. And it was hard. And it is, and there are times where you're like, oh, this is not going to happen. And money's just flying. You're like, I need more. Like, it is crazy. But then you learn, like, there's 3 different films within a film. Like, there's the film that you wrote. There's the film that you shot, and then there's the film that you edited, and they are all different things.
Oh, wow.
I mean, but if you don't start with a good, base with the writing, it's not going to happen. And then just getting the right people, like it is such a collaborative thing, which I love. And you find the right people, the people that like, cheer you up when everything's going to shit. It's so important. And I just was really blessed with that experience. And I was like, I need more. I want to do more. And so,
that's amazing. That's how it kind of.
That's really what that all led up to that.
Yeah. Oh my God. And so tell us what you're doing now.
Yeah. So, after that, I got into writing class, and that woman, Amy, ended up mentoring me and a group of other, mostly Black, minority filmmakers. And that started to, I felt like I was flying, after having been
winning the page. Yeah.
I just felt like I was flying. I mean, at all those festivals and seeing how people responded to the film and the stories that I got from other people, I was like, oh my God, this is exactly what I'm here to do. And then, because there's a lot of, not pain, but there's some pain within. There's a lot of vulnerability within sharing the journey story, because the way I structured it, I had the moment of me auditioning for the show choir in the film, and I had the so people would line up and tell me their story of how they felt like they weren't enough for the community that they loved. And it was just this bit, and I was like, okay, and then I felt like I was giving back in this way. And so, for whatever it's worth of people, knocking, actors or feeling self-centered at times or whatever, it really did make me realize what a service it is that we do as entertainers. And so, I was like, and then all the stories, everyone was like, we want to see more. These characters are too rich. This can't go away. And so I developed Out of Tune into a pilot. And so it's, I'm still in development actually, but I have been shopping around and taking some meetings, and like there's some interest into having it become a series. So that has been my heart. Oh my gosh,
that is it.
That has been my heart.
Feel it.
Yeah, but in the meantime, life, smacked me up against the face again with, I was diagnosed last year with multiple myeloma. And that was like after coming off of that high and feeling like I was like, I can't tell you, I say this to Christian, he was like, you had 2 kids, like stop acting like this made you feel so alive. But with those first few years of the kids, like I just felt like I was like, who am I? Like you're walking.
No, we would talk about it.
We would talk about it all the time. And then I saw you like, your outfit
I meant outfit going to work, and they'd be like, but then I was looking at them and I was like rushing off somewhere, and they were just getting to like hang with the babies and eat lunch. And I was like, have a good lunch. Bye.
But you had that look in your eyes. You were alive.
I was a killer. I was like,
you were like, I got it. And I was really inspired. I really have been so inspired by you and your journey. And I was like, let's do this.
You're like, let's get it together. Yeah. And then you were sitting with Alana, who works with me on this
so crazy.
Team now, so that was good.
We would spend so much time together, and then I would leave her and go write in a coffee shop or whatever. And so
I love how we're all so close.
It's so great. but yeah, and so I was like, I feel so alive. This is what my purpose is. And then boom, okay, I'm sick. What are you talking about? This doesn't make any sense. And
oh gosh,
I'm finally getting back to where I was before, and I'm obviously gonna be fine. I caught something super, super early.
Thank
but
God.
It was terrifying for a minute, like not knowing, and then again, the community comes out and lifts you up, and you walk. It's just like,
because Christian, we were like, wait, what? I mean, you just don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
And then it's like, it's scary to tell people, but you have to tell people because I know you didn't want to tell people.
It's so crazy that I can even talk about it now. I mean, I've gotten to a place where I'm like, this is not going to define me.
No, of course not.
But that's what was the scariest part at the beginning. Because I'm like, I don't want to be, I'm not a household name. I'm not a celebrity. So I don't want this to emerge at the same time that I'm trying to become. I'm getting some footing. And so I really struggled with it. But now I'm just like, honestly, everything that has inspired me and got me to this place. I mean, I love movies. I love certain directors. There are things that haven't, but it's people and their stories.
Yes.
It's their stories. That's why I love these long form interviews.
That's why I'm doing this, because I'm like, okay, all my best friends are so interesting and cool. I'm like, I want to get to know a little more, because sometimes we're like, what did the kids do today? And now I'm like, no, I want to hear like the whole story.
But getting diagnosed with that caused the next chapter with filmmaking. My husband is a director, and he had wrote, like 10 years ago, he wrote this piece that I was floored by. Just floored by. And it was just so beautiful. But we were still in I just found out that I was pregnant with Charlie. And I was, excited and happy, and I had just booked a nice little role with this manager, and I was telling Christian, I'm like a little nervous to tell him that I'm pregnant because it's gonna change things, and he's like, Christian's like, that's ridiculous, you need to tell him, like, this is exciting, he's just gonna be happy for you. And I told him, and I got fired.
That is
so I got fired.
Oh my God.
That was another layer of me like walking around the playground like, what? I was just
I was just fired. Thanks a lot.
So I was fired, and he wrote this thing for me. He was like, I'll show them. I'm going to write the best role for you.
Underestimated.
And then life happened. And honestly, the guy kind of did me a favor. I was able to just be there for the kids and do my commercial work on the side, make a little money, and then be a mom. And I love now that they're 10 and 8 to be able to say I had so much time.
You had so much time with them.
But that film sat on a shelf. I ended up making my film. Life happens. Cut to this diagnosis. I'm in treatment.
Oh, wow.
And
so much.
it's harsh, but I get some good news, like at the beginning of June last year, that, the medicine's working, everything, I'm basically in remission. It's going to work. It's great. And Christian's like, then the strike is looming. And Christian's like, what if we dust off this script? And he was like, I know I have someone great that can film it for us, or, shoot it. And so I was like, let's do it. Let's just do it. Why not? Honestly, that was beginning of June. And to make a film, there's so many things that have to come in to click. And I don't
all the
clicks, a lot of clicks. It's a lot of clicks. It depends on a lot of clicks and a lot of people, and somehow it all came together.
Yeah.
And it is and then what was even greater is that the kids are now old enough to play roles, and the kids that cost me this sort of manager are now in this film.
It is. I mean, they have to be actors. I mean, I
don't know if I'm ready for them to be actors.
But they're so good.
For sure, they are good. I'm not going to hold them back. They
are very talented.
What's so beautiful about watching kids too, and what the Out of Tune film was about, tapping into that little kid inside of you, and just being free. And there's a lot of themes within Belief too with that. But seeing the kid, there's a freedom that kids just go.
They can go with.
And so they're the best actors. They just are.
They just go for it. I mean, it was unbelievable, both of your kids watching them.
But yeah, so it was and watching family.
My kids watch them.
Oh,
that was so sweet. We're all crying. I was like, oh my God. Yeah.
But everyone, So So we filmed. It's called Belief. It's a mother's decision defines a man's destiny. That's pretty much all we can say about it, because it has a lot.
Don't say anything else. I just started tearing up. We're gonna watch it again.
It's funny because I had a moment too, because during the pandemic I had auditioned with my son Bear a lot, and he was like, all over the place, and I'm like, Christian, we can't use Bear. He's gonna mess us up. Like, I literally said that. I was like, I had like a list of other boys that I'd worked with, because I was like, I don't know. He's a little too much. He's jumping off couches. He's like, I can't.
Oh, he's got a ton of energy. Yeah.
He's a lot of energy. I was like, man, this is, and then Christian had a moment too where he was always absolutely we're using our kids. But he had a moment on the set where all these people are showing up. All the clicks that happen, they're showing up. And it's his whole family, and it could be really like...
It could go rogue.
Y'all better represent. But they did. It was awesome. So now we are in the beginning of our festival journey. We have... We premiered at the LA Shorts Film Festival.
Yeah.
We had a wonderful screening in Martha's Vineyard. We were nominated. So these are both Oscar qualifying festivals. And in Martha's, we were nominated as one of the best in Fest. So it was, it was really, really great. So we have 8 more lined up. And
that's so major.
I'm excited to see where it takes us, because the reviews that we've been getting are amazing. And then just the spirit of the film. A lot happened in our own lives that sort of started to mirror stuff that was on screen. And
that was on the screen. Oh my gosh.
Just with me having gone through the diagnosis, I had all these existential sort of, parent, like, will I be doing all that I can for my kids, for them to be, successful and great if I'm not here? You just have all these bigger picture, and
thinking
things.
About, oh my gosh.
And again, I'm going to be here until the end, But I had all these, so it had an extra layer of personal, and heartfeltness. So I'm really, really proud of it. And Christian just did the damn thing. He just is the best. He is so talented, and I've always known that. And I've always looked up to him, and that was another reason why it would have been too hard for him to be on my film, honestly, because I would have just let him. I wouldn't have learned. I wouldn't have done. You wouldn't have been in there. I would have been. Okay, what do we do? I had to kind of be on my own a little bit.
That's so amazing.
But
I love that he let you do that, and you let him. It's the
support. It's huge.
Team.
You need it, and
we always talk about that about our marriage. We're staying in.
It's not easy. We're doing it,
especially when the kids were little. It was just like, oh my god, but we're in.
We're in forever.
Forever. I mean, they can't. Sorry, Clark. Can't get rid of me.
Yep. No, but it was so beautiful watching him work on this. and direct us and have the team and
direct
so
you and your kids. Oh my God, it's so great. Yeah,
so good. So yeah, that's where you are now.
That's
where I am now.
And then, but the next step could be for the show,
series.
Series.
That is my hope and prayer. I just had a great meeting yesterday.
I'm just putting it out. It's happening. It's already happened.
I'm a big manifestor too. I know. I finally know I'm right where I want to be.
Oh
After all these like switches and turns, I mean the industry is imploding, but damn it, I'm still doing this. You're not getting rid of me.
You can't get rid of us. We're gonna just pivot where we need to go.
Yeah, we're gonna figure it out. But I am a storyteller. And I'm here to share.
That's what you should just say. Just Erika, storyteller.
Boom.
That's it. I think that's the role, because it's true.
Yeah.
And you found your voice.
I did.
Because you were really, I remember when we had our 2-year-olds, you were like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. You were like, kind of like, you were like zombieing around. I was like, girl, are you okay?
Oh my God, I was not okay. I was not okay. I mean, I was okay. I was so happy too. So that's
you were happy.
So I talk about this a lot within meetings, and within writing, I'm really fascinated by identity and the desires of people. I think art is so interesting when it's about sort of a comedy, especially when it's about obsessions and things that people are really into. And with Journey, it kind of ticked all those boxes. But and during that time, it was so paradoxical in a way where you're like, I'm so happy, I'm so tired, I'm so like, I don't know who I am. Like, you're all these things at once.
It's like, you're allowed to be all the things.
You're all the things. More than two things can be true.
Yeah. Well, it's so fun to see you shine. And I love watching when you're on the red carpet with the whole fam. I think that is so beautiful.
Awesome. Such a highlight.
To watch. Yeah. And them just...
We're going to make more. I think Christian and I also...
get out of here. If you don't do more, you're fired. You're because you guys have to.
We're a team.
It's too good.
I thought we'd kill each other, but we actually worked really well together.
I can tell you worked really well together.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Well, I love it. So, okay, well, everybody, so where do everybody follow you? I mean, I'll have all the links.
I'm at I am Erika Hamilton on Instagram.
Yeah.
I have my website. I don't know what else.
Erika Hamilton.
It's erikahamilton.com.
Yeah, I love
it. Yeah.
You're out there. You're doing it.
I'm doing it.
She's winning. She's winning awards. It's happening.
We've gotten great reviews too, so that's been fun. Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. And everybody literally cries the entire time. You watch it in the good way and you're like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so emotional. Okay, I love you.
Thank you for this.
Love it.
Awesome.
So fun to just go deep.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Well, you'll be seeing more. Okay. Mwah. Bye. I'm Shelton Wilder, and welcome to Wilder Possibilities Podcast, where each episode follows an entrepreneur's journey into the transformative power of that light bulb moment where everything clicks. I call that the click. Those pivotal points that redefine our futures, illuminate paths to success, and even change the world. Now let's get wilder.